I would love to hear your insight and any advice that you would give to the younger, the up and coming generation when it comes to wellness. Like, what is one thing that maybe you wish that you would have known if you could tell your younger self starting in the career to do, or a piece of advice that you would give to the next generation for wellness?
I think you bring up a good point, and I think it is one of those things where when you're young, you do think you're invincible, and a lot of times you are. It seems like you are, right? Maybe you don't have, a lot of our, younger officers and staff members, they're still healthy, which is great. Maybe they're newly married, or maybe they're not married, maybe they don't have a family yet, so they're pretty independent, and so they have a lot of time to just, focus on everything else. And so I think that's true, but I think it's trying to let them know, trying to teach them a little bit of kind of learning from our mistakes and recognizing that, when we started, we didn't have these resources, and we have these resources for a reason, because if you look back, there's a lot of people that came before you that unfortunately didn't make it to retirement for a variety of reasons. And what we're trying to do is trying to make it so you can make it to retirement. Or what I tell people all the time is, I get it's a different generation now. Maybe you're only going to do this job for 10 years and you're going to try to do something else. That's all right. But while you're here for 10 years, I want to have the best version of you for the 10 years you're here. You know what I mean? I want you to be the healthiest. I don't want you to just be surviving law enforcement. I want you to thrive in law enforcement. And so I would just tell them that all these different resources we're providing you, it might feel like you don't need them right now. But if you start doing these practices now, they're going to carry you into the future, right? And so I think that's what I would really try to push. And again, that's where that variety comes in. Not to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but just to kind of brag of a little bit on what we're trying to build at Redmond is, just in the 5 years that I've been here, I've seen our team has done some great work. I mentioned Sigma Tactical, and I mentioned, bringing in the mindful badge for the mindfulness training. But our record staff, right? Records, they're the most important part of a police department. They're the heartbeat. They process all of our paperwork. They handle all the phones, all the public records requests, right? They're working the front windows. They are the unsung heroes. Well, they're at their desks all the time. Maybe they can't always get that on-duty workout. Maybe they can't break away for the gym or whatever.